kata internet problem છે.
Yes, we can move ahead now. No problem. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes,
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam, shall we start?
Yes, Mahendra sir.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Respected our principal, Madam Dr. Veena Sanikar, our Vice Principal, Sir, Dr. Satyavan Hanegave, Sir, Dr. Atish Saukari, Research and Extension Dean, Dr. Hemali Sangvi, Research Academic Dean, dear and colleagues and my dear participant. Welcome once again in this one-day national webinar organized by KJ Somaya College of Arts and Commerce through Internal Quality Assurance Cell under Paramas scheme. So, as you know that we are conducting a series of webinar based on each criteria. So already we have done conducted criteria 1, criteria 2, criteria 3, criteria 4, criteria 5. And this is the criteria 6 and 7 webinar. So this is our 6th webinar, which we are organizing on 4th December 2020. As you know that each and every webinar we have conducted on each and every criteria. So this webinar is also very important for our mentee institution, a college, as well as a participant from all over India. So before going into the detail into the session, I would like to introduce some about theme of this workshop seminar based on criteria 6 and criteria 7. So criteria 6 is based on governance, leadership and management, and criteria 7 is based on institutional values and best practices. So when we talk about each criteria, the governance and management are the backbone of institution. Having a well-structured governing body and management helps to find and address gap in practices and efficiently implement proper contour mechanism on time. Effective functioning of an institution can be gagged by policies and practices. It has evolved in the matter of planning, human resources, recruitment, training, performance appraisal, financial management, and the overall role of leadership. Every institution has a mandate to be responsive to at least a few pressing issues such as gender equity, environmental consciousness, and sustainability, inclusiveness and professional ethics. But the way it addresses these and evolved practices will always be unique. The practices which are evolved internally by the institution leading to the improvements in any one aspects of the of its functioning, like academic, administrative, or organizational, are recognized as a best practices over a period of time. Due to such unique way of functioning, each institution develops a distinct characteristics which become its recognizable attributes. Primary objective of this one-day national webinar on criteria 6 and 7, an insight into the revised accreditation framework of NAC, is to train the stakeholders as well as policymakers to give valuable guidance and essential suggestions from the NAC assessment point of view. So with this, I would like to call Kawaljit Madam to take over the session. Madam, over to you.
Yes. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to all the dear participants in today's webinar. It gives me immense pleasure in taking this opportunity to introduce our esteemed speaker for today's session, Dr. Leena Govind Gahane, ma'am. Dr. Leena Govind, she has worked as member of Board of Studies and is also a PhD supervisor for RTMNU Nagpur University. Her area of interest is superconductivity in reference to physical world as well as human life and nanofluids. She has published many articles in national and international journals. She has delivered more than 640 lectures on many national, social, technical issues on academic, social, and organizational platforms and chaired the sessions in national and international conferences. A top academician, patriot, and well-known personality of national stature, a well-known freelance writer, and she has written almost 1,000 articles, poems on many current issues in newspapers, magazines, and on social media in Hindi, Marathi, and English. An electronic media panelist raising female and social issues on TV channels. Member of many professional bodies and social organizations like Rashtra Sevika Samiti. She is HR trainer for many sectors, KTC, PWD, Irrigation Department, and many more. She has also worked as a national study team member of unique study done on status of women in India in 2019 and has an opportunity to discuss findings of the study with our Honorable President of Bharat. Ma'am, we welcome you for today's session and we are fortunate to have you with us today. I would request ma'am to now enlighten us with her words. Over to you, ma'am.
Excuse me, uh, before we go to the Dr. Leena Gane madam, it's very because our principal is here in this session. So we will have a formal welcome on behalf of the principal madam. So I request our principal madam, Dr. Veena Sanekar, to give a formal welcome and then we begin with the session. To Dr. Veena Sanekar madam.
Thank you, Satyavan sir. Yes, very good afternoon. We are very happy and we are very fortunate that Dr. Leena Gahane madam, Deputy Advisor NAC, is there today with us. I hereby welcome you, madam, and also welcome all of you who have participated in today's webinar organized under UGC Paramarsh. Since last couple of months, we have been experiencing testing times due to COVID crisis. But still, with the help of technology, we all are working hard for academic excellence. Our own IQAC team has organized a faculty development program, which was very useful for participants at the national level. And it was highly successful. Our IQAC team in this corona pandemic is continuously taking honest efforts, not only for our own college, but also for our mentee institutes. At present, under Paramarsh, we are working together with nearly 7 mentee institutes. Our team has visited personally to all these institutes. And now we have created a very beautiful bonding with all our mentee institutes. It's really a very wonderful experience to grow together. In this webinar series, the schedule which was planned by IQAC was really very useful. And from chat boxes or the feedbacks which we received, participants really have appreciated this series. I'm very happy as in charge principal. Once again, I welcome you all and specifically Dr. Leena madam to be with us. Thank you, madam, for accepting our invitation. I also welcome both the deans and IQAC chairperson and also our Vice Principal, Dr. Satyavan sir, all respectable head of the departments, and all our teacher colleagues. Once again, very good afternoon and thank you so much for joining this webinar. Thanks.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much for your kind words and inspiring, statements. It makes us a difference for all of us when we take such ventures in the future. So thank you so much once again. I now request Dr. Leena Ghane madam to take over the session. To Dr. Leena Ghane madam.
Yes, thank you so much. Let me share my slides. Kindly make me sharing. Yeah. I hope my slides are visible.
Of course, madam, they are
Yeah.
absolutely visible.
I'm making it full screen. Just give me a minute. Is it full screen, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yes, yes. Namaskars to all. And as we previous month we have celebrated the Deepavali. Let me seek blessings from our Bharat Mata by saying one shlok. Om asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amrutam gamaya. Om shanti shanti shanti. Thank you very much, Kawaljit madam, for elaborate parichay of mine. Thank you so much. For
Most
today's
welcome, ma'am.
webinar, the dignitaries who are present over here are Dr. Veena Sanekar madam, Dr. Satyavan, Dr. Mahindra Mishra ji, all members of organizing committee and all dear participants. Namaskars to all. First of all, let me congratulate KG Somaiya College for taking up this, a very needed initiative to guide all the participants, or I can say at large the institution, to make them aware of the whole process of A and A. And the college being in the UGC Paramar scheme, they had taken up the responsibility in a very serious way, and they had been doing great job. So congratulations to the college team who had been working very hard. As you are aware of and rightly introduced by Satyavan sir, I shall be throwing light on NAC criteria 6 and 7, an insight into revised accreditation framework of NAC. Now, let me begin with this beautiful story of Panchatantra. As you are aware of कि in a jungle, एक बार जंगल में एक खरगोश पेड़ के नीचे सो रहा था, और हम सबको मालूम है कि खरगोश बहुत डरने वाला ऐसा एक छोटा सा प्राणी होता है। और अचानक से पेड़ के ऊपर से उसके शरीर पर कुछ पत्ते गिरे और वो हड़बड़ा के जागा और उसने कहा कि आसमान गिर गया। और ऐसे ही डरी हुई हालत में वो जंगल में दौड़ने लगा। जो भी प्राणी उसको मिलते रहे, हर किसी को उसने यही कहा कि आसमान टूटकर गिर गया है, दौड़ो दौड़ो अपनी जान बचाओ। जितने भी प्राणी उसको रास्ते में मिले, किसी ने ये नहीं पूछा कि चलो जगह दिखाओ और हमें बताओ नक्की कहाँ क्या हुआ है, कुछ नहीं। इस तरह से कुछ ही समय में उसने पूरे जंगल को अपने डर में संभाल लिया और पूरा जंगल दौड़ने लगा। लेकिन हम सबको मालूम है कि कुछ प्राणी तो होशियार होते हैं। एक वुल्फ जो था वो होशियार था और उसने सबको पकड़ा और पूछा कि दौड़ क्यों रहे हो। तो हर किसी ने कहा कि आगे वाले दौड़ रहे हैं इसलिए हम दौड़ रहे हैं, हमको पक्का पक्का रीज़न तो पता नहीं है। फाइनली सबको ये पता चला कि खरगोश दौड़ रहा है, डर की वजह से दौड़ रहा है, इसलिए हम सब दौड़ रहे हैं। और उसका ये कहना है कि आसमान टूटकर गिर गया है और जान बचाने के लिए दौड़ो। तब सब लोग अपनी जगह पर पहुंचते हैं और बाद में उनको पता चलता है कि कुछ पत्ते जो है वो गिर पड़े हैं और डर की वजह से खरगोश को ऐसा लगा कि आसमान टूटा है। हमारे एजुकेशनल जिसे हम बोलते हैं ना सोसाइटी में भी कभी कभी ऐसी बातें चलती है। और इसलिए कहती हूँ कभी भी एक्रेडिटेशन में जाना है, चाहे वो नैक का हो या चाहे NBA का हो या चाहे और कोई एक्रेडिटेशन एजेंसी का हो, तो इस तरह से रूमर्स होते हैं कि बाप रे, ये प्रोसेस जो है वो बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट है, इसमें बहुत सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स हमको जमा करने पड़ेंगे और बैक इंजीनियरिंग करना पड़ेगा और बहुत कठिन ऐसी ये सारी की सारी प्रक्रिया होती है। लेकिन इस कथा से हमें पता चलता है कि इतनी भी कठिन प्रक्रिया नहीं है। अगर सिस्टमेटिकली हम सारी बातों की ठीक से जानकारी ले तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आसानी से हम ये सारे की सारी प्रोसेस जो है थ्रू हो सकते हैं और हमारे कॉलेज का अच्छा जिसे हम बोलते हैं ना क्वालिटी कल्चर भी डेवलप हो सकता है और हमारा अच्छा ग्रेड भी मिल सकता है। और इसके तहत ही यूजीसी ने परामर्श स्कीम के तहत कुछ इंस्टीट्यूशंस को आइडेंटिफाई किया है और इनको जिम्मेदारी दी है कि एक्रेडिटेशन नैक की जो प्रोसेस है उसके बारे में इंस्टीट्यूशंस को अवगत कराएं और उनकी जो सारी की सारी तैयारियां हैं वो करवा लें। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हम इस डर की दौड़ में ना दौड़े, रादर आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल ऑफ यू टू विजिट टू द नेक्स्ट वेबसाइट, read the guidelines, read all documents, read the manual, read standard operating procedure, and then only you should make yourself ready for A&A process. As you are aware of, the vision of NAC is to make the quality defining element of higher education in India, and it will be through a combination of self and external quality evaluation, promotion, and sustenance initiative. From this very broad vision, we can get few things. Key in a nation like Bharat, where there is a huge diversity of higher education, making quality the defining element of higher education will be really a big task. So what NAC thought of, it will be a process. The process could be made more easier if the institution take self-evaluation. And as you are aware that NAC has asked the institution to make their self-study report. Self-study report means self-evaluation, and NAC believes that self-evaluation can far better be done by the institution itself. And whatever documents you submit when you first of all apply for IIQA, and after that within a time frame of 45 days, then you submit your SSR. If you look at the SSR, it comprises of 7 criteria, as you know. There are certain qualitative metrics, there are certain quantitative metrics, and all metrics are validated. The documents are being verified at NAC level. There are two type of matrices. One is the quantitative matrix, which will go under the data validation and verification process. Correct? No? And the qualitative matrices, they will be verified. The validation of the data which is being provided by the institution, it will be done on the on-site by the peer team visit. So the external quality evaluation will be the part of NAC. Then once the institution is under the process of A&A, the institution starts self-realizing, and slowly the promotion of the quality culture takes place in the institution. Secondly, once the accreditation is finished, then naturally there will be the efforts put forth by the institution to sustain the quality initiatives at their own level. So this is how the whole broad vision of the NAC has been, is developed, and in that direction we are moving. So when the vision is broader, then accordingly the steps are to be taken to reach our goal, isn't it? So there are certain, what you can say, action plans of the NAC. And the action plans of the NAC is to arrange the periodic assessment and accreditation of the institution of higher education or units thereof or specific academic programs or the projects. So this is the first action plan NAC take. Then to stimulate the academic environment for promotion of quality of teaching and learning and research in higher educational institution, to encourage self-evaluation. So now whenever we prepare our SSR, that time we start evaluating at our own self. Whatever documents we provide, whatever information we provide in different matrices, we are accountable for that. And there is of course a full autonomy and encouragement given to the innovations to the higher education. Then to undertake quality related research studies, consultancies and training program. Let me share with you, as your research departments are working for different working on different projects. Even at the NAC end, we are having our research related activities. We are doing consultancies and we are conducting training programs. Then to collaborate with the other stakeholders of higher education for quality evaluation, promotion, and sustenance. Now, let me share with you, in the situation of pandemic, when the lockdown started, NAC has taken up more than 150 webinars to create awareness among the higher learning institution, to make them aware of the process, discuss with the higher participants, discuss with the faculties, and get acquainted, making them acquainted with what exactly is the A&A process, and encourage them to participate in this process. So this is how there are certain collaborative activities we had been doing. So these are our action plans. And all mission and vision of NAC, it is based on what foundation we called it as a core values of NAC, contributing to the national development. See, whatever are the initiatives, practices, activities taken up by the institution to contribute in the national development, they are of immense importance from A&A process point of view. Then fostering the global competencies among students. Many a times we hear that our students are graduate, but they are not worth getting any employment because they lack skill, they are not competent enough. So whatever are the initiatives taken up by the institution to enhance the skills, the quality of understanding, as well as the techniques, technology, all those are important. You can It can be reflected in different criteria. Inculcating the value system amongst the students. Since ours is a diverse culture, we need to deal with the society. So inculcating value system among the students is also important. Promoting use of technology. Whatever NAC expects from others, NAC does that. You might have come across this thing. Because if an institution, even if wants to come into A&A process, the very first thing is that the institution has to create its HAI portal, isn't it? And after that, only through the technology, or you can say through the portal, we are communicating to the institutions. So even of feeling of IIQA, or may it be feeling of AQARs or SSR, or execution of what you can say DBB process at our end, and other all things, they are ICT enabled. So the institution, we expect that they should also be ICT enabled. And quest for excellence. What I was past, what I am in present, and what I wanted to become in the future. This attitude of progress will definitely lead to what you can say the overall quality higher educational culture of India. So the quest of excellence. So these are the 5 core values on which all 7 criteria, different matrices, and overall the quality assessment process is based on. So these 3 things are important because they lead to the foundation of A&A process. You might have come across this score sheet because scoring in the scale of 0 to 4, it will lead to different grades to the institution. And I can say that climbing one step ahead is not just enhancing our grade, accreditation grade. Rather, I should say that slowly we are climbing the staircase of the quality of higher education, isn't it? So it is all efforts taken up by the institution once it comes into A&A process. So you can say reorientation of the ideas, reorientation of the attitude, the work culture, it gets changed when the institution come for assessment and accreditation process. Now, in our today's session, I shall be focusing, as I rightly said, it will be, of course, on the criteria number 6 and 7. The criteria 6 deals with the governance, leadership, and management. And the key indicators in this particular criteria, which I shall be discussing in details, it will be about the institutional vision and leadership. strategy development and deployment, then faculty empowerment strategies, financial management and resource mobilization, internal quality assurance system. And you can see here there are different scores given, but for criteria number 6, may it be a university or an autonomous college, UG or PG college, the score or the marks allotted, they are 100 marks, and different key indicators, they have got a different, a weightage in this overall weightage of 1000. And the seventh criteria deals with the institutional values and best practices. That is the institutional values and social responsibilities, best practices at the institution, and institutional distinctiveness. So this particular criteria even has got the weightage of 100 marks in this on the scale of 1000. So you can see that both the criteria, they has got equivalent weightages, but the key indicators which are there in both the criteria, they differ in what you can say the weightage, because their importance is different, or there is some difference in the importance of this key indicators. Now, there is an English proverb, too many cooks spoil the broth, isn't it? So, as far as the institution is concerned with, we want that the leadership of the institution has to be, shouldered on a correct person, and the responsibility of that leader has to take the ship, just like a captain takes the ship to the right destination or the decided destination. Accordingly, the principal of the institution of, or I can say head of the institution, has got the responsibility to take up the institution according in the direction of its vision. Accordingly, they should plan their mission statements and work on it, as too many drivers can never reach the destination. So it is very much necessary that a correct leadership, or what you can say efficient as well as capable leadership, will definitely lead the institution to the right destination. Effective functioning of an institution can be gauged by the policies and the practices it has evolved in a matter of planning human resources, recruitment of efficient, capable staff, then training of the staff from time to time, then the performance appraisal. This is very much important. Many a times we are feeling like why to appraise, why to look into back, why to take a feedback, but the performance appraisal will definitely lead to the proper planning as well as deployment of human resources. Then the financial management and overall role of the leadership. So this is the crux of what I can say criteria number 6. Now in this criteria number 6, as we had seen, there are 5 key indicators: institutional vision and leadership. So the leadership of the institution should be aware of in what direction the institution should be taken up. What are the clause that I should implement? How the resources they can be mobilized? What should be the policies frame? How the incremental growth in the institution will be possible? All these aspects should be the vision of the leader. Then strategy development and deployment. Many a times we have many resources, human resources and other material resources even we have. But due to lack of proper strategy, or you can say a planning, the deployment of the resources becomes is not done. And due to that, what happens, even if the resources are there, the institution is not growing. Then faculty empowerment strategies are also important, because what you can say the institution's heart is the faculties who are there. Their empowerment, understanding their capabilities, deploying them for the proper work, encouraging them, it will help the institution to function in far better ways. Then financial management and resource mobilization. Many a times, hello, Swati Nerkar madam, is there anything? Am I audible, sir? Hello?
Ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Then financial management and resource mobilization is also important. Right now I told you that resources are there, finance is there, but many a times the funds they are as it is for many years and not used. So financial management plays an important role, and the you can say the whole drama has to be taken care by the IQAC, that is the internal quality assurance system. If our internal quality assurance system is strong, the people are visionaries, they understand the vision, they understand where the institution has to lead, then definitely they can support the leadership, and accordingly the institution can progress. So let me come to the first indicator which has got the weightage of 10 marks. Effective leadership by setting values and participative decision making process. You know, many a times the values are being set up, but there are many a times happening a single person takes up a decision, and slowly people start thinking of, or the faculties or the stakeholders of the institution start thinking of कि हाँ ठीक है ना, वो डिसीजन लेते हैं तो उनको लेने दो, वी आर ठीक है, just to follow. Rather than that, if there is a participative decision making, because in Sanskrit there is one word, that is vade vade jayate tattva. When we discuss many things, then from that the better avenues come forward, better ideas come forward, and people feel that they feel encouraged that yes, their decision, their ideas are being taken care of, and we can lead to far better decision as well as policies into our institution. So participative decision making process is key, not only to achieve the vision, mission and goals of the institution, but also building an organizational structure. We can build an institution can reach the heights, they can have good number of students, their student could get placed, but what about the organizational culture which has to be built at the organizational level? Otherwise what we find that we get good faculties, they are very intelligent, good profile, but they stay in our institution for some time and again they leave. So the attachment with the institution will be possible only when there is a participative decision making process in the institution. The formal and informal arrangements in the institution to coordinate the academic and administrative planning and implementation reflects the institution efforts in achieving its vision. It is very much necessary that there has to be some activities, some initiatives from the head of the institution to organize for some formal and informal meetings, activities, so that whatever हम जिसे कहते हैं ना मन के अंदर जो अड़ी होती है वो भी धीरे धीरे खत्म होने लगती है, और जिसे हम कहते हैं कि एक इंस्टीट्यूशन के साथ जुड़ाव हो जाना, लगाव हो जाना, तो उससे मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि काम ज़्यादा और बेहतर हो सकता है. So in this particular key indicator, we have two metrics. Both the metrics, they are qualitative metrics. That means the institution has to write in own words, in 500 words, what is the policy and what are the activities taken up for these two particular submatrices. That is, the governance of the institution is reflective and in tune with the vision and mission of the institution. Many a times we even opted that the institutions, faculties, or the bodies, different bodies are there in the institution, the governing body, the CDC, the student uh, uh, welfare body, all these bodies, they never think of what should be the vision of our institution. Whenever the NAC comes, अरे हमारा विजन होना चाहिए, हमारे ब्रोशर में विजन लिखना है, तो क्या करो, तो इंटरनेट पे सर्फ करो, बाकी इंस्टीट्यूशन के क्या विजन है उसके साथ हमारा वैसा उसी तरह का हम बना लें. लेकिन क्या इसी धारणा के साथ हमारा इंस्टीट्यूशन हम बढ़ाने का हमने सोचा था क्या? तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि विजन एंड मिशन के अकॉर्डिंगली द गवर्नेंस ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन इट शुड बी रिफ्लेक्टिव कि नहीं, यस, इफ वी आर द इंस्टीट्यूशन who are in the backward area where the tribes are more, and the very basic aim of the institution was to the upliftment of the tribal community make them come in the mainstream and educate them. If that is the vision, then my vision and the governance, my governance should reflect the same vision. So it is very much necessary that this particular metric, which is a qualitative metric, institution on the nature of governance, what are the perspective plans, what is the participation of the teachers in decision making bodies of the institution within maximum 500 words. The second metric says that the effective leadership is visible in various institutional practices such as decentralization and participative management. Many a times, or you can say this is a usual practice, that if you see the bodies of the institution, then you will find that only few people are in all bodies. So there is no decentralization of work. So it is very much necessary that the leadership has to identify the stakeholders which are there in the institution, what are their capabilities, what are their likings, how they can manage different profiles and portfolios, and accordingly deployment of the work to them, it will help the institution to grow far better. So the effective leadership is visible in various institutional practices. इसमें हमें लिखना पड़ेगा that describe the case study showing decentralization and participative management in the institution in practices within 500 words. So this is how the first key indicator talks of the decision making process, participative decision making process, involvement of the stakeholders or the faculties, may it be teaching, non-teaching, students, all sort of faculties, they should be involved in different activities of the institution. Criteria 6.6.2, it deals with the strategy development and deployment. The leadership provides clear vision and mission to the institution. It is very much necessary that vision and mission are not just the statements, rather than what you can say, they are the goals of institution's life. So making our faculties aware of what is our vision, and to reach that particular vision, what should be our policies? What should be the different practices? What should be the decisions that has to be taken up as a spirit by the institution? That has to be made very, very clear. The function of the institution and its academic and administrative units are governed by the principles of participation and transparency. So academic as well as administrative units, they should collaborate and they should be governed by the principles of participation and transparency. Everybody should be participating in, and there has to be complete transparency in the governance. The formulation of development objectives, directives, and guidelines with a specific plan for implementation by aligning the academic and administrative aspects improves the overall quality of the institutional provisions. So it is very much necessary that while implementing any plan, it should be aligned with our academic and administrative aspects. Then only overall quality culture of the institution can grow. In this particular key indicator, we have three submatrices, of which two are qualitative and one is quantitative. As I have already mentioned that whatever strategy or the perspective plans, it has to be effectively made and it has to be effectively deployed. Because when the institution is coming for assessment and accreditation, what we find that at the first cycle, the institution is trying to learn the process of quality culture. But when the institution is going for the second cycle, it is expected that it should have the IQAC cell. Once the IQAC cell is composed as per the directives of NAC, which is given on the website, the IQAC cell has to take a lead role in making up the strategic plan, coming 5 years plan to the institution. Because what happens now on on-site visit, the PR team members, they give recommendations. The overall the data available of the institution, depending upon, we try to analyze the functioning of the institution, and accordingly the peer team gives the recommendations. When the recommendations are obtained and the accreditation outcome document is with the institution, you can know in different criterias what is the status of the institution. Once you see all the your scores and you see the different graphs, there are graphs even you can get. Accordingly you can see what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are the areas of opportunity, and how you can take up the challenges, forthcoming challenges. So accordingly the IQAC sales role will be to give the strategic planning, and it has to be effectively deployed, because slowly incremental growth of the institution is important. The functioning of the institutional bodies has to be effective and efficient as visible from policies, administrative setup, appointment, and service rules and procedures. So all these things are important for the functioning of the institution. Policies are to be implemented. For that, whatever are the institutional bodies, they have to take it very seriously. And there has to be, just like we have the benchmarks for the quality assessment, institution can also have their benchmarks, and they can set up their benchmark कि इस साल में हम इतना इतना अपने research का area है, तो we are lagging in the having the international publication. Now the IQAC cell can motivate the faculties to take up the research activity, take up the research projects, and encourage the faculties via funding them. So this is how whatever is policy framed by the IQAC cell as a futuristic plan, it has to be implemented accordingly. Then implementation of e-governance in the areas of operation. Now few years back we were moving we were trying to avoiding the e type of things. We were afraid of internets. We used to take up the things all on hard, isn't it? But as we are moving ahead, especially after pandemic, we started believing that yes, just because of this internet, we are able to cope up with whatever are the responsibility shouldered on us, made with the administration. And we are also aware of that on one click now we are able to have the complete financial transactions. Student admission and support is also the it is e-activated, I can say. The whole process is online process. Even the examination in this pandemic, we had gone for the e-exams. So implementation of the e-governance in the areas of operation will lead to, first of all, maintenance of the data and documents. And second thing is that there will be the transparency in the system. So what are the initiatives? To what extent institution has taken up the e-governance? That has to be given in 6.2.3 in the quantitative metrics. The third one is the faculty empowerment strategies. Faculty is the heart of the institution. Empowered is the faculty, institution can rise to great heights. क्योंकि आचार्य चाणक्य का एक शब्द बहुत अच्छा लगता है मुझे, एक वर्ब है उनका, वो बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि शिक्षक कभी साधारण नहीं होता, निर्माण और प्रलय उसकी उसकी गोद में पलते हैं। तो जिस तरह से शिक्षक होगा, जिस तरह से हमारे यहाँ के स्टेक होल्डर्स होंगे, जितना इंकरेजमेंट उनका सिस्टम के लिए होगा, उस हिसाब से हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशन की ग्रोथ जो है, इंस्टीट्यूशन के अंदर जो क्वालिटी कल्चर है, सिस्टम एडॉप्शन हम जिसे बोलते हैं ना, सेटिंग ऑफ द सिस्टम होगा, ये पॉसिबल होगा. द प्रोसेस ऑफ प्लानिंग ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज इंक्लूडिंग रिक्रूटमेंट, परफॉर्मेंस अप्राइजल and planning professional development programs and seeking appropriate feedback, analysis of the responses, and ensure that they form the basis of the planning. Many a times for the sake of formality, we take a feedback, may it be from teaching, non-teaching, student, alumni, parents, and different bodies, but it is just to maintain the file. Have we ever thought of we should critically look into what is the feedback obtained? One more point I wanted to pinpoint, मतलब seek your attention to, कि while giving feedback even, is the stakeholder very serious about I should give the correct feedback? It should be, it should be a fair feedback. It should be towards the progress of the institution. The feedback which is obtained, it has to be analyzed, and the outcome of that feedback should be the policy document of the institution. Then only we can overcome our weaknesses. We may be able to face the forthcoming challenges. So it is very much necessary that the planning of human resource, it is important aspect. May it be a recruitment, what sort of faculties we want for our institution, what is our vision, what is the present status of the admissions of our institution, what type of faculties, what type of human resource we want, what is the performance. We calculate the performance of the faculties only limited to teaching and learning process, but their participation in the university activities, in the social activities, in the industry collaboration on the different administrative bodies of the institution, that plays an important role, because these are all hand-holding activities. It will lead to proper, taking a proper decision for the institution's betterment. Then the efforts are to be made to upgrade the professional competence of the staff, and there are mechanisms involved for regular performance appraisal of the staff. So all these systems has to be developed by the institution. They should encourage the faculty to go for higher studies. They should motivate them to go for the conferences. They should have the faculty development programs. They should have the sports activity for the faculties. So what are the plans of the institution in for empowering their faculties? Here there are five matrices, of which the two are the qualitative matrices and three are the quantitative matrices. Their intent is the institution has a effective welfare measures for teaching and non-teaching staff. Provide the list of existing welfare measures for the teaching and non-teaching staff with the maximum of 500 words. So what are the efforts taken up by the management of the institution, or I can say the body of the institution, and the highest body, governing body of the institution, for the welfare scheme of the faculties? Is there that the faculties are entitled to get the LIC policy? Are they given the funds for attending the conferences and other things? So what are the welfare schemes taken up by the institution? You have to put in words. The average percentage of teachers provided with financial support to attend the conferences, workshop, membership fees of professional bodies during the last 5 years. या ऐसा होता है कि हमारे जो फेवरेबल लोग हैं उनको हम केवल सपोर्ट करते हैं, एज अ पॉलिसी हमारे पास कोई डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं होता है. It should not be like that. It should be a policy of the institution that those who are willing to attend such development programs, faculty development programs or conferences like that, the institution has to make up a policy that they will support the faculties. Then average number of professional development administrative training program organized by the institution for teaching and non-teaching staff during the last 5 years. Our staff are our soul. So naturally, to enhance their capabilities, to update them with the recent trends, we need to train them, we need to conduct the professional development programs from them. So how many number of programs are such type of programs are being conducted? I would like to seek your attention that whenever institution is organizing such type of program, kindly refer to the NAAC standard operating procedure. In that, it is mentioned that what type of programs will be considered. We have just a 1 day program and we called it as a faculty development program. It will not be done. So it is very much necessary to understand the standard operating procedure also. Then average percentage of teachers undergoing online or face-to-face faculty development programs during last 5 years. So such like a professional development program, orientation program, induction, refresher course, short term. So that number, it is very much necessary, and we should encourage our faculties. Rather, the IQAC say need to maintain the data of the staff, and yearly they should look into what number of faculties have taken up what sort of program, so that at a glance there will be the chart available. The staff who has not done the refreshment program or orientation program like that, they can encourage the faculties to attend such type of programs and update themselves. Then institution performance appraisal system for teaching and non-teaching staff. Since we had been handling many, SSRs, and we come across that the institution, just for the sake of NAC, they develop the mechanism of self-appraisal. But we want that this appraisal has to be analyzed, and in subsequent way, it has to come into the policy document for the further development. So, and accordingly, if we are affiliated to the university, university should be made aware of this, what appraisal we have taken up. So this particular system has to be adopted slowly. It has to be built up and adopted as a routine process of the institution. And this is how the faculty, they will feel empowered. Then financial management and resource mobilization. Budgeting and optimum utilization of the finance, as well as mobilization of the resources, are the issue considered under this particular key indicator. The institution has to develop the strategies for mobilizing the resources, ensure the transparency in financial management of the institution. Nowadays, since it is all the digital transaction, the financial management and transparency in finances has, we had developed that as a system. But mobilizing the resources is important. The income and expenditure of the institution are subjected to regular internal and external audit. So it is very much necessary that the institution each year, they should have a proper budgeting. What are the future plans of development of the institution? What was the previous plan? Looking into it, accordingly the present year budget can be allocated. And once this has been completed, there has to be internal and external audit. Let me share with you, friends. The institution, they are not conducting the audits. We want income expenditure certificate in excluding salary. There are different heads under which we are considering. There can be a research grant, there can be a lab development, there can be infrastructure, it can be a library for the students welfare. So there are different type of heads under which we are allocating the budgets, but it is not audited. And of course, for ANA process, we require the audited statement. So we need to have a regular practice that the audits are being considered. It should be the financial audit. There has to be the administrative audit. There has to be academic audit, so as to know ourselves where we lie. So in this case, there are the three matrices, of which two are the qualitative matrices and one is the quantitative matrix. Let me tell you that quantitative matrix is the question in which the institution has to provide the data in numbers. Along with that, it has to give up the supporting documents. And in qualitative metric, the institution has to put the things in words, their own words. They have to provide the information, and along with that, they can provide the documents. So this is how the qualitative and quantitative matrices, they are divided into. In qualitative matrix 6.4.1, the institution conducts internal and external financial audits regularly. Enumerate the various internal external financial audits carried out during the past 5 years with a mechanism for setting up the audit objections within the maximum of 500 words. So has the institution developed such type of audit system in them? What is the, how they have framed the audit pro forma? If the audit objection is raised, then how they are working with these objections? So a system, whether there is a system and developed by the institution, that has to be mentioned in this particular key indicator. Then the funds grants received from non-government bodies, individual, philanthropists during the last 5 years not covered in criteria number 3. In criteria 3, we talk of the research grants, isn't it? Rather than that, there may be some non-government bodies, NGOs may fund, alumni may fund. So in this particular case, or some individual may fund. So in this case, what is the fund raised by the institution under this head? It has to be put up in lakhs. We are also finding that the institution are making mistakes. When we say in lakhs, you need to put it in lakhs, not in thousands or hundreds. That particular thing has to be remembered here while putting the numbers. And 6.4.3 indicates that institutional strategies for mobilization of the fund and optimal utilization of resources. Describe the resource mobilization policy and procedures of the institution within the maximum of 500 words. So, what was the plan? How you mobilized your resources? How you utilized that funds? What were the different heads that we have to describe in this particular metric? And at the last, but very important, is the internal quality assurance cell. As we are aware of, to put ourselves fit, our heart has to function in a proper way. It has to function regularly, isn't it? A small gap in functioning of heart may lead to the death, isn't it? Similarly, the functioning of IQAC cell to the institution is just like as the importance of the heart is to the human body, is the importance of IQAC cell, or you can say IQAC system, to the higher educational institution. The internal quality assurance system of HAIs are self-regulated responsibilities of higher education institutions aimed at a continuous improvement of quality and achieving the academic excellence. So this is the very what you can say criteria for the formation of IQAC cell. And if you read the composition, the guideline for composition of IQAC cell, then there it is mentioned that the head of the institution will be the chairperson, and the head of the IQAC cell has to be an experienced person, a visionary person, well acquainted with the quality culture initiatives taken up across the nation. So, what are the different things in the area of different quality indicators other are practicing? So, he has to be very, a visionary person. Then we can involve the students, then the alumni, then the NGOs, and the teachers from the different cadres. They can be assistant professors, they can be associate professors, professors. So a body of 10, 12 faculties has to be there in the IQAC cell, who critically think on the recommendations given to them, and they critically analyze them, they put it in the policy, and they deploy the people or the human resources for the proper implementation of the policy. So the institution has a mechanism for academic and administrative auditing. It adopts quality management strategies in all academic and administrative aspects. The institution has an IQAC and adopt the participatory approach in managing its provisions. You know, our alumni, they are also what you can say support to the institution. They are in the fields. Their feedback to the institution is really a guiding thing for the institution. What are the different initiatives the institution take, how the incubation cell has to be there, how the innovation cell has to be there. So these particular tips by the alumni will help the institution to grow, to take up different initiatives, to take up different practices, to streamline the processes, because alumni even they fund the institution. So this participatory approach is very much important. So even let me tell you that once the institution is accredited, and when it comes for the second cycle, NAC expects that the institution should submit AQARs for all years, all 5 years AQARs are to be submitted before the institution go for the next cycle of accreditation. So it is expected that the annual quality assurance report of the institution has to be prepared under the flagship of IQAC cell. It has to be a IQAC part. So naturally, the IQAC plays a key role. Internal quality assurance cell has contributed significantly for institutionalization of a quality assurance strategies and processes. We say institutionalization of the quality culture, best practices, and internalization of the quality culture has to be there. Whatever is the best, what is where is the unique, whatever gets aligned with the vision of the institution, it should be adopted by the institution as a best practice. But this practice will come as a best practice, or as a unique thing of the institution, only when the institutional faculties, the stakeholder, they have the internalization of the quality culture. When they feel like कि नहीं हमारा इंस्टीट्यूशन जो है उसको हमें सही दिशा में, और जिसे हम बोलते हैं ना कि हमें अव्वलता की ओर लेकर जाना है एकेडमिक्स में हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशन को, तो ये इनिशिएटिव जो है वो फैकल्टीज का ही होता है. 6.5.2 deals with the institution reviews its teaching learning process, structure and methodology of operations, and learning outcomes at a periodic interval through IQAC setup as per the norms and recorded the incremental improvement in various activities. पहले साइकिल में हम कहा थे 5 साल के बाद जो रिकमेंडेशंस हमें मिले हैं उसमें हमने कितना इंक्रीमेंटल ग्रोथ किया, कितनी इंक्रीमेंटल इम्प्रूवमेंट्स हुई, उसके लिए हमने क्या पॉलिसीज बनाई थी, कैसे उसको हमने इम्प्लीमेंट किया, एंड ईयरली वी हैव टेकन अप द रिव्यूज, दैट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. Then 6.5.3 deals with the quality assurance initiatives of the institution, which include regular meeting of IQAC cell, because it has to be recorded and those minutes of the meeting has to be uploaded while submitting of next subsequent cycle IIQA, isn't it? So what was the feedback collected, how it was analyzed and used for the improvement, then collaborative quality initiatives with the other institution, has the institution taken up? Have we gone for networking of the resources which are available with the institutions nearby? It's not always that the one institution will have all sort of resources, but once there is a hand-holding activity, networking of the collaboration with the other institution, definitely the resources give and take will happen. So such collaborative quality initiatives has to be taken up, and it has to be planned by IQAC. Then participation in NIRF ranking is there, or any other quality audit recognized by the state, national, ISO certification है, NBA है, या इंटरनेशनल एजेंसी से कुछ सर्टिफिकेशन हुआ है क्या, तो ये सारा का सारा मैटर जो है इट विल बी लीडिंग टू 6.5.3. In one word, Swami Vivekananda has said that you are divine. Like also believe that each of the institution of this nation, it is very distinct, and that distinctiveness has to be appreciated, isn't it? Because we find that all the 5 fingers of our hand, they are not similar, isn't it? So we need to see that uniqueness. We need to recognize that, appreciate that. An educational institution operates in context to a larger education system of the country. In order to be relevant in changing national and global context, an educational institute has to be responsive to the emerging challenges and pressing issues. In the introduction to the webinar, Dr. Satyavan Mishram has Satyavan sir has taken up our attention to certain challenging issues and certain pressing issues. So, is our educational institution ready to face the challenge? Have we not accepted the challenge of pandemic? There was a fear amongst all our educational faculties or the institution how we will cope up with. In the March, suddenly the pandemic started. Our teaching was in mid. We have not completed the syllabus. Exams were not done. But slowly, with the help of the technology, we were able to face the challenge in a very positive way. We conducted the classes online. So we need to get ready to face the coming challenges and whatever are the pressing issues. It has a social responsibility to be proactive in the efforts towards development in a larger context. So it's not that we will do afterwards, we will do this way, that way. So we need to reflect immediately. We need to respond immediately to the coming challenges, and we have to be proactive. We need to put our all efforts. And I think so. The pandemic has given us this very sense that we need to, togetherly face the challenge and to be move towards the put all our efforts towards development. Initially, even 1 year back, if somebody says you have to come online for the webinar, we were feeling that video conferencing pata nahi kaise hoga. But now it has become a routine activity. We have adopted all those skills, we have learned the technology, we had made all our presentations, and now via internet we are able to communicate to a far of the distances. So we are putting all our efforts towards development, isn't it? This role of the institution is reflected in terms of kinds of programs, activities, and preferences that it incorporates with its regular functioning. Now, this particular, challenge has to be a regular activity of us. The extent to which the institution is impactful in this is a sure reflection of its quality. Every institution has mandate to be responsive to at least few pressing issues such as the gender equity. So what are the initiatives by the institution to sensitize the students, the faculties towards such a pressing issues? Do we have some clubs that way? Do we conduct some programs? Do we, give an opportunity, equal opportunity to both the genders, so that this, difference, or you can say this particular thing thing will get addressed. Certain environmental consciousness and sustainability issues. Are we encouraging our student to be very careful for the environment? Is the initiative taken up by the faculty while leaving the cabin for the lecture? Are they putting off their power, gadgets? So all these environmental consciousness activities or the policies, it has to be come into action. Then inclusiveness and professional ethics. This is a important issue. We have to be very inclusive, and but the way it is addressed, this and evolves practice will always be a unique. So each of the institution will try to address all these issues in a very unique way as per the the attitude of the faculties or the stakeholders of the institution, according to their policy, and also according to the vision document. Every institution faces and resolve various kinds of internal pressures and situations while doing so. We are all faculties, and we are aware of that. We need to, bear with a very high pressure sometime, isn't it? So if we are together, if we are very, factual about our policies and very determined about implementation of the policies, then you can overcome such a pressure situations and streamline the things. Some meaningful practices pertinent to such situations are evolved within the institution, and this helps smooth the functioning and also lead to the enhanced impact. Such practices, which are evolved internally by the institution, leading to the improvement, is any one aspect of its functioning. Like academic, you can have a different type of practice, like you can have your academic audit, or you can have a different, policy, or you can say a practice like after the class is over, the students are given the assignments, and one of the student is encouraged to deliver the same topic to the slow learners. That can be a practice. Then in administrative, you can have our organization. All are recognized as the best practices. And over the time period, due to such a unique ways of functioning, each institution develops distinct characteristic which becomes as a recognizable attribute. Let me share with you that NAC has been conducting the best practices webinars, and then down the line, 33 such best practices webinars have been conducted. And we have encouraged A++ institution to participate in these webinars. And these webinars, they are available on the YouTube, and there the institution has shared the best practices they have taken up by their institution to move ahead for the quality culture and make the institution, to grow to the heights they expect in their vision document. So in this particular criteria, there are three key indicators. institutional values and social responsibilities, best practices, and institutional distinctiveness. I have 10 minutes time, madam. I have 10 minutes time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You
Yes.
can continue.
Okay, okay. Sir. Thank you, sir. Institutional values and social responsibilities includes the institution organizes gender equity promotion programs. Then the institution displays sensitivities, issues like climate change, environmental issues. It adopts environment eco-friendly practices that takes necessary actions such as energy conservation, rainwater harvesting, waste recycling, e-solid waste, carbon neutral, green practices, etc. What happens though, we just put a one lecture कि नहीं हमको ये ना 7th क्राइटेरिया में लगने वाला है डॉक्यूमेंट, तो क्या करना है, तो एक वेबिनार हम रख देते हैं, इससे अवेयरनेस होगी एंड कोई एक हम अंडरटेकिंग ले लेंगे कि वी विल फॉलो दिस. But has on ground the institution implemented such practice? For an example, in one of the colleges from Kerala, when I was taking up there, looking into their best practices, the institution has decided that yes, we want to go with the green campus. It's not mere putting, trees, getting the trees across, having the garden across. It's not just a green practice. What they decided, they have 2,000 students on campus. They have decided that once in a week, all faculty, student, all participants, all the stakeholders of the institution, including principal, including the management people, they will come by bicycle. This is how they are supporting the environment. So this could be the best practice. So what I feel is that just keeping up a lecture, having the photographs and putting it as a record that we have conducted such an awareness program, rather than that, implementing those programs on ground and slowly adopting that as an internalization of the quality culture, it will help the institution to really contribute, in a true sense, contribute to the nature. The institutions facilitates differently able, Divyanga friendly campus, effective dealing of location and advantage and disadvantages, situatedness, explicit concern for human values and professional ethics, etc. So is our campus having that sort of facilities to our Divyanga students, or is there effective dealing of the location advantage and disadvantage situatedness is there? In other words, the concerns of social responsibility as well as values held by the institution are explicit in its regular activities. So it should be a part of our life rather than it should be a function of function in the calendar. So the measures initiated by the institution for promotion of gender equity, तो क्या क्या हुआ है? So whatever are the initiatives, whatever are the activities, co-curricular activities taken up for this gender equity programs, they are to be included in 7.1.1. 7.1.2 deals with the institution has a facilities for alternate sources of energy and energy conservation measures. Especially we, the people of Maharashtra, we have ample of sunlight, so we can have the solar energy, but still via research and innovation we can encourage our students to go for or develop for certain alternative energy sources. We can take up certain projects and we can search for innovative ways of either saving energy or having the development of alternative energy sources. Then describe the facilities in the institution for management of following types of degradable, non-degradable. तो हमारे यहाँ सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट का क्या सिस्टम हमने बनाया है, लिक्विड मैनेजमेंट हम कैसे करें, बायोमेडिकल वेस्ट अगर हमारे यहाँ तो क्या कैसे कर रहे हैं, वेस्ट रिसाइकलिंग सिस्टम, hazardous chemicals and radioactive waste. So whatever are the initiatives taken up by the institution that can be put forth here. Water conservation facilities available in the institution. So if there is a rainwater harvesting, borewell is there, construction of tanks and bunds are there. Since it is a college from Mumbai, I don't have an idea about to what extent there will be a possibility of having a bunds and other things. But yes, rainwater harvesting will be a possibility. Wastewater recycling can be a possibility, and so also storage of the wastewater in the same, at the same geographic surface. It will help to maintain the water table of the institution nearby area. So these are the initiatives on practice, and we can encourage our student to take part in all these activities. And with this, we can inculcate them in them the value for to respect nature, एंड जिसे हम पंच महाभूत कहते हैं उसके सर्वाइवल उसके सुरक्षा के लिए we can encourage our student and so also to the environment. Then green campus initiatives includes different activities. You have restricted entry of automobiles, battery powered vehicle, pedestrian friendly pathways, ban of use of plastic, landscaping, trees and other things. So this could be a possibility. Then quality audits on environment and energy audits regularly, is it been done? ग्रीन ऑडिट हम कर रहे हैं क्या, एनर्जी ऑडिट होता है क्या, एनवायरनमेंट ऑडिट के हमारे क्या परफॉर्मेंस है, क्या हम करते हैं, क्या करना चाहिए, क्या किस तरह से हमने किया, कहीं हमारे स्टूडेंट ने इन ऑडिट्स को प्रेजेंट किया क्या, कई कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में गए तो. क्लीन एंड ग्रीन कैंपस रिकॉग्निशन, बियॉन्ड द कैंपस एनवायरमेंटल प्रमोशन एक्टिविटीज़, हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशन के इर्द गिर्द के एरिया में जाकर क्या हमारे विद्यार्थियों ने एनएसएस के तहत बोलिए या हमारे स्टडी स्टूडेंट सर्कल के तहत बोलिए, इस तरह की कोई अवेयरनेस एक्टिविटी की है क्या, इस तरह से वी नीड टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू दिस पर्टिकुलर मैट्रिक. The institution has disabled friendly barrier free environment. So do we have built up the ramps for और disabled friendly washrooms हमारे पास है क्या, साइनेज हमने यूज़ किया है क्या, डिस्प्ले बोर्ड्स है क्या. So all these infrastructural details are to be provided over here. So this is how our different metrics, they are seeking the data. Institutional efforts and initiatives to an inclusive environment, that is a tolerance and harmony towards cultural, regional, linguistic, communal, socio-economics and other diversities. So you need to have the programs, you can have student forums, you can have faculty forums in which all people are coming togetherly and they are realizing the integration. We say no unity in diversity, but that unity or that integration has to be sensed as a routine way, in a very informal way by all of them. What are the things, what are the initiatives? Sensitization of the students and employees of the institution to the constitutional obligations, values, rights, duties, and responsibility of the situation, citizens. We find that many a times students, they are not aware of what are our rights and what are our responsibilities. Many a times we know rights, but we fail to realize our responsibilities. Are there some sensitization programs taken up by the institution that we need to describe in 500 words? The institution has prescribed a code of conduct for student, teacher, administrators, and other staff members. So we need to have a code of conduct. We need to have that policy document, and it has to be approved by the College Development Committee also. The institution celebrates different national, international commemorative days, events and festivals. Teaching, learning is not mere reading the books and learning and getting the degrees. Rather, it is a Vidya Mandir, and we find that there has to be the overall development of the everybody, not only the student, but all the whosoever are associated with it. So what are the initiatives taken up by the institution to celebrate these days, how they celebrate it, and what is the innovative way to make it happen? So that is important. And then best practices, this is very important, and as you know that each institution is unique, and depending upon the capacity of the faculty, the students, very innovatively they can have the different practices. Any practice or practices that the institution has internally evolved and used during the last few years, leading to positive impact on the regular functioning of the institution, can be identified as the best practices. There are not any activity prescribed by some authority. Rather, at some point in the time of the institution, it evolves some innovation or a change in some aspects of functioning. For example, just now I have mentioned that the teacher has delivered a topic and it has given an assignment and had asked the student to deliver the same topic to the slow learners, and there is a hand holding activity, and slowly हम बोलते हैं ना कि सीखते सीखते सिखाते सिखाते सीखते भी जाएंगे, इस तरह से. So this could be one of the best practices institution has adopted over the years, and now it is a culture. For the first second year students, they are helping the first year student to learn, and or the projects can be the joint projects. So these activities could be called as the best practices. This best practice is relevant mainly with the institution at a given point of time. It could be in respect to teaching, learning, office practices can be there. Yes, our student can be taught even the administrative job. Can we assign a group of students, say 5 students from one class, they are being assigned with. We can allocate them 2 hours time in a week to sit with the office, to look into how the office works, how the administration is going on. Different deans, they take up the students, bright students who are interested in different areas. They can take up with them, and they can understand how the dean works for the betterment of the institution. So there can be different practices, and it has to be evolved by the institution. It could be in respect of all that teaching, office practices, maintenance, and keep up the things in, or dealing with the human beings or human matters even. It has been often observed that the electrical engineer हो जाता है, परंतु इलेक्ट्रिक की बटन फिट करना है तो वो उसे नहीं आता, क्योंकि ग्राउंड एक्सपीरियंस उसको नहीं मिलता है. तो ऐसी केसेस में हमारे इंस्टीट्यूशन के ही रिसोर्सेज को हम अगर मोबिलाइज करते हैं, if we utilize their capability, we can train them, and this is how we can grow together. But adopting that practice has resolved the difficulty, or has brought in greater ease, in working of the aspect. So we need to analyze. We have developed one best practice, but has it really grown the institution, or it has created a difficulty? That we need to analyze from time to time. In brief, these best practices are relevant within the institutional context and may pertain to either academic or administrative or organizational aspect of the institutional functioning. So this is heavy weighted metric, and here the institution has to mention 2 best practices they have been taking up. It is a kind request that don't copy paste others best practices. Rather, we should realize it is a part of self realization and implementation of the practices for the betterment of the institution. There is a typical format given by the NAC, how you should represent your practice. There has to be the title of practice, and what was the objective of the practice, what is the context, what were the contextual features or challenging issues that needed to be addressed in designing and implementing the best practice. Let me share with you one example. For an example, KG Somaiya College is situated in an area, and around it there is heavy dense population, and some slums are there. These slum families, they are not able to fill up certain forms. So the institution has realized that these people, they are not able to fill some government forms or state government forms. So the student has decided that they will create an awareness, and they had taken up around, and they have taken up this activity as a best practice, and over the years they have created awareness and made the slum people literate, how they should respond to such forms and fill the forms. So this contextual feature, there was a challenge. They find that they were not seen in the voting card, or they had helped that way. The practice, describe the practice, the success, problems encountered, resources required, and notes. So all these has to be documented in a proper way, and it has to be hosted in your website as well. Then institutional distinctiveness. Every institution would like to be recognized for certain of its attributes which make it distinct or one of its kind, isn't it? Such attributes characterize the institution and are reflected in its activities in focus and the practice. So you need to portray the performance of the institution in one area. So how one institution is different from the other. And so it is, self-realization sort of, and that uniqueness has to be reflected via the activities taken up by the institution. Let me share with you that looking into the different type of institution, their limitations, in the NAC we have provided with the certain optional matrix which you can opt out. So in criteria number 6, 6.2.3, 6.3.3, 6.4.2, these are the optional metrics, and yeah, you can opt out if it is not applicable to you. But take up that key metrics which you are opting out, it should not be a weightage of more, it cannot be a weightage of more than 10 marks. So this particular optional matrices are there. You can go into the details into the manual, whichever is applicable to you. If the institution is PG institution, kindly refer to the PG manual. If you are autonomous, kindly refer to autonomous manual or university. So overall, responsibility of all of us is to create good citizens, isn't it? And by creating good citizens, our nation will become Atmanirbhar. Our innovative student, they will produce the local products, and slowly we using the local products, talking of the local products, we can make them global. So I wish the clarion call given by our beloved Prime Minister, आओ हम सब मिलकर भारत को आत्मनिर्भर बनाएं. Let us step forward and let us make our institutions as man-making institution. Man or woman, it is not like that. व्यक्ति निर्माण की संस्था हमारी शिक्षा मंदिर बने, इस आशा से हम आगे बढ़े. The best sentence by Vivekananda I always like is, we need to take risk in life. If we win, we can lead. But by some means, if we lose, then even we can guide. So let us take a responsibility and move ahead to make our nation, Atmanirbhar. So thank you so very much from my side for criteria 6 and 7. Sorry, I have taken some more time, and over to the host, Satyavan sir. Thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you so much, ma'am, for such a wonderful presentation. Ma'am, when the session was going on,
Yeah.
at the time there are some questions raised by our participants.
Yes, sir.
So one question raised by Dr. Bhagyesh Deshpande, ma'am,
Yes, sir.
whether the verification of API score of all teachers by IQAC is mandatory.
See, API, you can adopt that policy. It is not a mandatory sort, but from a faculty point of view, for its own progress, if you analyze and have the API each year, it will be encouraging for the faculty to, develop in their educational qualification. They can participate in more of the research activities. So you
ಹೈಸ್ಕೂಲ್
can.
ಟೀಚರ್ ಇರ್ತಾರ ಅವ್ರ ನೋಡಕ್ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ಸೋಣ, ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ತೊಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ.
Dear participants, please unmute.
So it can be a decision of IQAC, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, there is one more question raised by Sunita Kadam, ma'am. Is there gender audit mandatory after the third cycle assessment or not?
Now, what I feel is why to wait till third cycle, sir? Audit help us to review what is our practice, isn't it? And secondly, the auditor, internal auditor, it may be, or it may be an external auditor, they will put some recommendations. So getting into the recommendation, we can enhance our practice in far better way. So you can have your audits at the institution. You can have academic audit, administrative audit. You can have green audit. So what I feel that don't wait till third cycle. Let us start working for the quality culture. And unless and until you know where you stand, unless and until you have your own benchmark, we cannot grow. तो पहली सीढ़ी के पर आने के लिए हमारे इंटरनल ऑडिट्स होते हैं, तो ये अच्छी प्रैक्टिस है. जिन इंस्टीट्यूशंस में होती है उनके प्रोफार्मा को हम एक बार देखें. हमारे कॉलेज के लिए, इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए किस तरह के प्रोफार्मा हमें बनाने चाहिए, व्हाट इज द कल्चर एट आवर इंस्टीट्यूशन, अकॉर्डिंगली वी शुड प्रिपेयर आवर ओन प्रोफार्मा एंड वी शुड कंडक्ट द ऑडिट. It will review the progress of the institution periodically. So it will help the institution rather.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. There is one more question, that is which type of audits are mandatory asked by Dr. Sunita Kadam ma'am.
Academic administrative audits are to be there. I have just explained in my slide, sir. Green audits are being conducted. Mandatory तो कुछ भी नहीं है, लेकिन करना है क्वालिटी कल्चर के लिए तो हमें इनिशिएटिव्स लेने पड़ेंगे, क्योंकि नहीं करेंगे तो उस इसमें हम स्कोर नहीं करेंगे. अगर हम स्कोर्स की बात करते हैं तो हमें उसमें स्कोर नहीं मिलेगा, जीरो मिलेगा.
Yes,
परंतु अगर करते हैं तो हम एक क्वालिटी की तरफ एक कदम तो रखते हैं ना. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है हमारा एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशन है तो एकेडमिक ऑडिट होना चाहिए, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ऑडिट होना चाहिए और ग्रीन ऑडिट्स भी हमारे होने चाहिए.
Thank you ma'am.
एक मेरे ख्याल से वीणा मैडम का एक प्रश्न था कि कमिटीज के मेंबर्स कैसे होने चाहिए. तो मैंने अपने इसमें लेक्चर में बोला कि हेड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन हैज टू बी वेरी, इट शुड बी जस्ट लाइक अ मदर, यू नो, as mother knows the capacity and potential of the child, and accordingly she deployed the child with the work. Accordingly, without fearing of what will happen to my post, whether I will continue with the head of the institution also, without fearing that. Head of the institution should be very, you know, formally, informally associated with the faculties, all stakeholders. He or she should be able to identify the potential of the stakeholders, and accordingly she should place the different, of course their qualification, whatever are the norms, accordingly according to seniority, according to skills, she should recommend the name of the faculties for the different positions in the different bodies of the institution. What happens if the efficient people are there in the different decision making bodies that help the head of the institution to take the decision? She or she can put strongly her recommendation, or the institution's recommendation in front of governing bodies or the management, and it could be approved easily. So rather than going for the इतने सालों से ये काम कर रहे हैं, ये वही रहेंगे, I think that key. And secondly, there has to be, you know, continuously changeover also. If 3 years turn हो गया, you should give the chance to even young ones. Our young Bharat, it is very dynamic. They are well skilled with all, you know, techniques and other things. So we should take their participation also. Invite their participation rather. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Dear participants, if you have any queries or any questions, you can unmute and you can ask, or you can write into the chat box. Yes, anyone? Ma'am, there is one question raised by the Sunita Kadam ma'am. The
Yes.
gender equity program का कुछ example.
Mhm.
Gender equity program related example.
हाँ. हाँ, yes, sir. Anything else?
No,
Okay.
that is the,
Oh,
she's
okay.
asking about the
Okay.
gender
Oh,
equity
yes,
related program.
What happens now in many a times our women's cell or student circle, they organize for just an awareness program. ऐसा होना चाहिए, वैसा होना चाहिए. लेकिन whether we deploy the student without keeping in mind that oh, this is a girl, this is a boy, are we doing that way? So the initiative about the gender equity has to be right from the top. This has been we had been observing this. If it is a lady, then to what extent we should give her this post? Can she be a dean, or can she be a head of the institution? So I think this particular thing, it has to be come into practice right from the top, and slowly it should percolate to the actual practice of the institution. कार्यक्रम तो लेंगे जेंडर सेंसिटाइजेशन के, लेकिन रूटीन प्रैक्टिस में क्या ये ऐसा नेटवर्क हमने बनाया है क्या कि जिसमें फॉर इनफॉर्मली द गर्ल एंड द बॉय everybody is working together. It is inclusive practice rather than putting it as a girl and boy or that way.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, dear participants, Any questions you can ask? You can unmute and you can ask.
Good evening, ma'am.
Namaste, namaste.
Yeah, this is Niraimati from Bhavans College, Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Ma'am, in our college, 80% of the employees are women, and nearly 50% of the students are girls.
Yes.
And the girls do even better than boys actually in academics and also in co-curricular and extracurricular activities. And we don't really consciously have any such gender equity programs as such.
Is it that we should conduct such type of awareness or such type of initiative only restricted to our institution? No.
Okay.
Our institution is part of society,
Okay.
and we observe that in society this is happening. So can we have some activity which will try to, cope up with this, this attitude of this is boy and that is girl? We can go beyond boundaries, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Understand. Yes.
your being the women institution, we can think of going beyond the boundaries and conduct some programs, some activities, so that this thing will slowly get eradicated.
Okay.
धीरे धीरे इसको खत्म करेंगे.
Okay. Okay. Yes,
जी.
and we understand.
नहीं,
Thank
और
you,
ये
ma'am.
UGC से भी आता है ना हमें. We
Yes.
need to, yes, Women's Day.
Because for our own girls, we don't feel that we need to conduct any such program because they do very well.
नहीं,
So
just what
I
I have
understand, ma'am.
heard from you is कि girls can do far better than boys.
I mean, there is no difference between boys and girls as
Correct. That is better. But
Yes,
girls
yes.
can do better than boys. This could not be there.
No, they
Sometimes it is like that. Sometimes it is otherwise also. So that is what is the gender sensitization about.
Yes, ma'am.
I am also a girl, so I know what are the capacity cities of the women, but still there are certain restrictions even that we understand. So equal attitude. We are all one, and we need to work for our society, work for our family, work for our nation. That has to be come up instead of this is girl and that is boy. That sort of attitude, that sort of activities could be initiated for our institution as well as for the society. That could be taken up, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. Myself, Assistant Professor Dinesh Nere from Palghar, Maharashtra, madam.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, madam. I want to ask one question, madam. That is whether the green audit and energy audit conducted by college itself, or we have to be given it to the other agency, outer agency.
You can have your self audit, sir. You can have your own audit also. Yeah, they can see when you deploy somebody or if you depute some external person. So that way you can have a collaborative activity with other institution. See, you can have a policy for green audit. You have prepared your proformas, okay? And if a nearby institution, they are also having a green audit. So from the external college, if you are calling somebody as an auditor to audit the your institution, that will fairly help us. Critically, he can put up some recommendation, and accordingly we can improve.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Internal audit भी होना है, external audit भी होना है.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Yes, sir. 2 minutes, Bhavya.
Yes,
I'm in
dear
session.
participants, any questions?
I'm in session. Just a moment, sir. Just a moment. Huh? Yes, go. Are you all right? Going early? Oh, go. हाँ sir. 1 minute. हाँ sir. बताइए.
Yes, dear participants, any queries or any questions you can ask. Yes, anybody else? Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was indeed listening to you. You have highlighted all the aspects of key areas of criteria 6 and 7 and given you valuable guidance, valuable information on each and every aspect of this criteria in such a simple way. And I could see the many positive responses, feedbacks in the chat box also. And So now it's time to propose a vote of thanks. I,
Yes,
Dr.
yes. Sir, 1 minute before you go for formal vote of thanks, let me share one more point. Dear
Okay.
participants and all respected gurus present who in this webinar, I would suggest that you keep on visiting NAC website. You will find that there are certain literature available related to best practices. You can look into the SSRs of the different institution because NAC asks the institution to upload the SSR on their website. Okay. So if you wanted to know more about different, policies as well as different programs, different initiatives taken up by the good institution, you can identify that. And you can visit to their website and you can look into their SSR. That will encourage all of us to go for, good governance, leadership, and all practices of the institution. That is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Yes, yes, definitely, ma'am. Definitely, everyone need to visit the NAC website, and accordingly, we need to make a changes in our criteria, and we need to follow. We need to update the website also. That is very, very important. So thank you so much, ma'am. I, Dr. Sunil Chandan Shive, on behalf of Somaya Management, Vijay Somaya College of Arts and Commerce, Principal Dr. Veena Sanekar, IQC team, Paramarsh scheme, and all the Menti Institute would like to sincere thank to our resource person, Professor Leena Gahane ma'am. Ma'am, your valuable guidance will definitely guide us in improving our quality education and the standard. Definitely. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us and accepting our invitation.
It
Yes,
was my pleasure. Namaste. Dhanyavad.
I also take this opportunity to thanks to our principal, Dr. Veena Sanekar ma'am, who has been always motivating and supporting us for conducting such kind of programs. Heartfelt thanks to our vice principal, IQC coordinator and coordinator of this national webinar, Dr. Satyavan Hanegave sir, both the dean, Dr. Atish Taukari sir and Dr. Hemali Sangve ma'am, IQC committee members, our colleagues, special appreciation to Dr. Mahendra Mishra sir, convener of this national webinar. Last but not the least, I thank all the dear participants. You have made this program a grand success because your participation, your active participation is very, very important. Dear participants, feedback link is shared in the chat box. So please give your valuable feedback as it is mandatory to receive the certificates. So this is very, very important. Now I kindly request for everyone to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे